Hello, and welcome to What the Forks, a Twilight Book Club. And this is a forking around episode, specially dedicated to you guys, the listeners. Thank you so much. We have gotten amazing feedback, and I honestly thought it was just going to be like our friends.
I am shocked by the number of people that we have touched.
Yeah, and I'm like, we got strangers commenting. We've got strangers sending emails and telling us how they found us.
We're famous now.
I'm just like, I texted you girls, and I was like, look. And it's just
And
so exciting.
my response immediately was, Mama, we made it! We made it! Because y'all both know my mom. She's not listening. She thinks we're just being ridiculous.
My mother, it's fine.
Same. My sister, I was like, can you just like subscribe at least? Can you help us? She's like, I cannot even be a part of a world where Twilight is successful. And I'm like, I will stab a bitch. But I'm like, you can't just support me. You can't support me. So that was a fight. And I think she did.
Hating something doesn't take away someone's love for it.
You can't yuck other people's yum, y'all.
And if you ain't got haters, you ain't popping.
You ain't popping. So I told the girls I wanted to do a forking around episode. How the last one was a soundtrack, which I hope you guys have enjoyed. And we will be releasing that. It's hopefully by the time this is released, we will have made it. That I want to read some of your questions you sent in and some of your reviews and like the emails that we've received. And I've gotten permission from everyone to do this who had sent one in. So it's not like creepy.
We're not putting anybody on the spot.
Yeah. Like you didn't have to like sign a thing. But I wanted to read an email from Claire first, and then we can all just like respond. So Claire, this is from you. Hey, my name is Claire, and I just wanted to say that I absolutely love your podcast. Someone posted the link to your podcast on a Twilight subreddit, and I just listened to all 3 of your episodes, and I have to say you all are amazing. Your guys' chemistry and bantering makes the podcast so funny and special. Please don't stop making podcasts. Also, I'm definitely Team Edward, but my sister, who has never read any of the books, is Team Jacob because he has better abs.
Reasoning.
I mean, good reasons. To Claire's sister's point, the movies, definitely put Jacob in a better light, so I can see why there is a Team Jacob because of the movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing this reread through and watching the movies, which we'll talk about, we've had talked about Eclipse and how that's a thing. But yeah, I hear you, people who have never read the books. But, do you guys want to read one of the thingies I texted you?
Yeah, I'll read one of our reviews.
Yeah.
It says, my new favorite podcast is its title. Oh, it's from Kate with a lot of T's. I already love you, Kate, with a lot of T's. I was over the new, in parentheses, moon, when I found out Midnight Sun was finally being released. Finding this amazing forking podcast made waiting for the release even better. I've been a devoted Twihard since the first book came out, and it's a forever thing. Twihards unite and listen to this extremely funny and honest take on the series we have or haven't read and reread in the last 10 years. No judgment here, just great banter and conversation. Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're welcome, Kate.
Our job isn't to like shit on something. We love it. We want everyone to love it, and they want you to love it with us.
The fact that I can get esteem for hanging out with my friends and talking crap about books and movies that we love, which we were already doing for free.
Right.
I mean, whatever.
I mean, I have text chains now that we are in quarantine, but whatever. Kiki, do you have one pulled up?
I do.
Go for it.
It says, about forking time, I recently find myself diving back into the Twilight world. I've gone down the Reddit hole, Google, and now podcasts. I absolutely love the banter between these girls. They don't take themselves or the series too seriously. I mean, why should you? Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And this is a forking masterpiece by just an indie girl. I should pull this up because it's a longer one. Sorry. I'll skip ahead to something else while someone can pull that guy up. I just realized I didn't screen grab the whole thing.
Oh, no.
I'll read this from Caitlin. It says, hi, Sarah. This is a friend of ours. She's the one, if you didn't see the picture of the 2 girls sitting in the Breaking Dawn premiere covered in glitter.
I love that photo so much.
Yeah. Like,
it's beautiful.
This is her. And I was like, can I please share this photo? And she was like, why do you think I sent it to you? And I'm like, perfect. So she's like, so I'm listening to your podcast and I'm so excited you guys are doing this and love it so much. I thought you and Kiki would appreciate this photo of my friend Audrey, literally covered in glitter at the midnight premiere of Breaking Dawn Part 1 in 2011. Because Eclipse just had its 10-year anniversary, y'all.
Oh, God.
We've been super Twihard since the first book was released too. Also, listening to the podcast inspires me to reread the books before the Midnight Sun release with you. Yes, that's the point.
Join the party.
Yes.
Midnight Sun.
Midnight Sun, read along. I'm really excited. I don't know how we're going to break it up, but it's going to happen and we'll figure it out.
I'm so ready, y'all. I feel like that Nintendo guy. My body is ready.
Perfect.
My body.
Go for it, Jordan.
Wait, which one is it?
The bottom one.
Just an indie girl.
No?
Did it go away? A 4K masterpiece. That's it, that one.
You already read that. It's only a paragraph.
I started to read it and then it said more underneath it.
A Fork-in Masterpiece by Just an Indie Girl. I've been a Twihard for over a decade. Team Edward because vampires never die, and this podcast is my new favorite. I'm so excited for Midnight Sun, and it's been fun revisiting the books and movies through these girls. Ladies, I love your banter and jokes. Can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah.
Neither can we.
I have loved the pictures and things that we said. Thank you guys for these awesome reviews and the emails. And we've got questions we're going to get into. But along with Caitlin sending that picture, we had another fan, Amanda, who sent us her Emmett t-shirt.
Yes.
From Hot Topic back in the day. I had a Jasper one because he was my favorite at the time.
I don't remember if I had any of the t-shirts there. I feel like maybe I had an Edward one, but I do. So fun tidbit. My day job is working at Hot Topic HQ.
So
and
cool.
one day I was just kind of like doing weird stuff and I found a box of old samples and there were Twilight t-shirts in there. So I definitely took some home.
That's amazing.
That's great.
So I have a Breaking Dawn like full cast tee that I can't wait to wear when we get to those episodes.
Bought all the jewelry. Does anyone remember the
The
jewelry?
jewelry was banging.
The jewelry was so great. I bought all the jewelry.
So I had Alice's
like
choker.
Hot Topic history. That was some of the first like fashion lines that we did based off of movies. So like you could buy Bella's green jacket at Hot Topic and like all
Her
of Alice's
ring.
jewelry, the ring. I want Bella's ring now that I think about it again. Her engagement ring.
It was beautiful.
It
They
was
did a really good
beautiful.
job.
It was real good.
Going to that, Amanda had some questions. So this kind of works because she's like, because the jewelry had a Cullen crest, right? And then
Yes.
the Volturi had a crest, which those things don't exist in the book.
No.
How did you guys feel about them adding crests for the movie and for the merchandise?
Oh, I thought it was a really good move. You know, you need to, working in visual merchandising, things have to have an identity. And I think that with their family having been around for so long,
there had to be
exactly,
a
they
crest.
would have had to create a crest because they would have had to fit in.
Yeah, I agree. I
in
like
that
it.
time frame, of course, every family had a crest.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Who
you
would
don't have one?
been? You don't have a crest?
You must be poor.
Like the McLeods with their
Yeah.
tattoos.
And the what's the one? Outlander that everybody loves. You know, they have all the
Yeah.
crests and stuff on Outlander.
Outlander
So
has all the
yeah.
crests and stuff. It's normal.
Yeah.
Especially since I was good, Carlisle is from like England, so
Yeah.
like everyone there has crests.
Yeah.
She also wants to know: did we get into any of the illustrated guides or the book that was The Short Life of Bree Tanner?
So I read The Short Life of Bree Tanner once. I have not read it since then, but I do think we should break it out for a mini-sode.
I think so too. I've never read it. I knew it came out, and I was just kind of past my Twilight like time in a way.
I was at the point where like I didn't have time in life anymore, so I
Right.
didn't
I
read
hear
it. But
you.
I knew about it.
I mean, so and to really answer a question, in preparation for us doing this podcast, I actually went on eBay and I bought a lot of Twilight things that I could find on eBay. So while I did not have them then, I own them now.
Right.
I got those illustrated guides now.
Are you a wolf or a vampire?
I love it. I've got a question from Jessica because she noticed that we were doing the comparison of books to movies. And so this is a new Moon question. What did we think of the addition of Bella emailing Alice? Because that wasn't in the book. But in the movie, that's kind of like, you know, in her depression stage, Bella's just emailing Alice and the mail keeps coming back. So she just wants to know, what do we think of that addition? Because she thought it was a good one. So.
I do too. I think it rounds things out in that way. And like I don't know, there are just certain things that it's easier to translate in you know, like visual media versus books. And I think that the turning of the pages in the book was a very good way to like show how that time had passed and how hurt she was.
Right.
But you can't really do that visually in a movie. So I think the email bouncing back was a good sub.
It also added that layer of she didn't just lose a boyfriend, she lost a best friend. You know, she lost that whole family. She had a relationship with certain people and it was all gone, you know?
Yeah, it just really showed exactly what you're saying. Like, you know, Edward took her pictures, but this added a whole extra layer of loss.
Mm-hmm.
She lost her best friend.
She did.
Along with her hot boyfriend. Get it?
Oh.
And then we've got some questions from a fan that you might have. These came through Jordan, so you might have to translate some of these for me.
These are from my older brother, who he and I have a very close relationship. He actually bought the first Twilight book for me, and he's a writer as well. So I was like, "You got to read these books," and he read them, and he was like, "But why? Why did you make me do this?"
You're like, "Because they're great."
Because they're great. So it's an ongoing joke between he and I.
I love it. But why does he say justice for Jacob?
Oh, because my brother is totes team Jacob. He thinks that Edward is a creepy old man. He listened to our first episode when we were all team Edward, and he was just shocked by our behavior.
Why?
I know.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to, because we all know I've already turned sides and kind of understood a little bit why people would like Jacob. But I am still team Edward.
Oh, always.
Right,
Always.
for sure.
And here's my thing. Yes, Edward did live many lifetimes that Bella had. You know, he's like 5 times her age, but he hadn't matured at all. You know, look at his behavior.
No.
He did not have any the emotional maturity that you would think that would come from being 100+ years old. He didn't have it. They were on the level playing field.
He got knowledge. He didn't get life experience.
No.
You know,
He knew what anaphase was. He didn't know how to date a girl. So
Exactly. And as someone who watches a lot of Korean dramas, this is totally normal. Like guys who are hot, who don't know they're hot, who are like all into science and like music and stuff. And then like there's that one girl that they're like, oh my God,
oh, lady.
I love you. I don't know why. I want to suck your blood.
Ooh.
and then he says, how are we just acting like Edward didn't full on stalk Bella? I don't think we're acting like it didn't happen.
acting like that.
I literally.
I think some people might act like that. I don't think the 3 of us are.
No.
No.
That 100% happened. And then I feel like we have to discuss, like, what would the difference in time be, right? So, yes, he 100% stalked her. But where's the line? I think the line crossed when he, like, shows up in her bedroom. But I think, like, knowing her class schedule or, you know what I mean? Like, back in the day in high school,
that's
you,
a
like...
thing that you did.
Yeah.
So I beta tested MySpace, but the only reason I did is because this cute boy that I was in school with was also beta testing MySpace. And my creepy ass had Googled his name and, like, found out about MySpace. And I was like, okay, great. I got to sign up for this because me and this guy got to be MySpace friends, whatever this means.
I love it.
So, like, that's just how teenagers behave.
And how much in this digital world now do we look at people's social medias before we go out with them?
Oh, all the time.
Or even before, like, they know that they like us.
Oh, my record for finding a guy from dating app to like his real profiles, 35 seconds. It took me 35 seconds of internet searching before I was like, oh, there you are.
Yeah.
I got so deep on a coworker she had. I only had his first name. And she's like, oh, well, the photo has a picture of a girl with him. So clearly, no, girl, that was his sister.
Yeah.
Like, that's how deep I went.
Right?
I knew his auntie, his
Right.
cousins.
I'm going
I
on that
identified
first
the whole
date, and I'm like,
family.
and he's
So,
like, yeah, my family went on vacation. I'm like, oh, yes, to Tokyo in 2015. I saw the photos. They were lovely.
yeah.
No, that's just what happens.
That's how we act.
You know, we don't cross the line into driving past their house every day. But you
Yeah.
can't tell me as a teenager you weren't showing up at like the Wiener Schnitzel if you knew that he worked there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just normal. Girl, I think the reason that I bought Twilight is because I was always in the Barnes & Noble because there was a guy who worked there who looked like Gabriel Garcia Marquez or who's the one from Y Tu Mama Tambien?
Oh.
He
I
looked
don't know
like
his
that
name,
guy.
but
yeah.
He looked like that guy. And I was like, I'm going to just buy a whole bunch of books until this guy notices me.
Yeah. So like, did Edward stalk Bella? Sure. But he didn't cross the line until he just showed up in her bedroom.
Yeah,
in
no.
my opinion.
And it, honestly, it didn't get super, super weird to me until he was just watching her sleep, which that's just weird. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, that's
Vampire, normal human, werewolf, ghost, what, like just,
Don't
that's where it
watch
got
people
weird.
sleep. That's weird.
Yeah. He wants to also know, why do we like Edward? Like, what is Edward's appeal?
He's hot.
He's
and
hot.
glittery.
Abs and glitter.
He drives fast.
He's got a lot of money.
Yeah, he's got a lot of money.
He wears that tan turtleneck and his cream leather jacket,
Right.
Yeah.
looking like a champagne poppy.
I also think he's very kind and has a big heart. And you don't
Yeah.
get that from the movies, but you get that from the books.
Yes, and from the books, he just really enjoys Bella as a person.
Yes.
Even though she's not a very well-rounded character.
Also, how many guys have any of us dated who constantly ask how we feel?
Right?
Yeah,
Edward
right?
cares so much about how she feels.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. He's just like, how do you feel about that? Oh, when he first met her. Oh, your mom moved to Florida? How does that make you feel?
He's like dating a therapist, which is low-key what we all want. And how does that make you feel?
Mm-hmm.
And he reminds her to eat.
Right? Yeah.
He's like, you haven't eaten today. Oh, yeah, I should do that. Otherwise, you have Jacob, who's a salty Jacob. Not salty, assault.
Assault.
Salty Jacob.
Because that boy can't take no for an answer. Listen to our Eclipse podcast and you'll hear what we're talking about. And now we have
His
to start
fourth
the
question
new
is
book.
a spoiler, right?
It is, yeah. So we're not going to talk about that one. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later
for
when we get
Breaking
into
Dawn,
Breaking
because that
Dawn.
gets into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's all I've got, guys, for the fan stuff.
Ooh.
So if you want us to read your review or your email, you have questions, comments, concerns, we are happy to hear them. Send us an email to smellsliketeenangstmail@gmail.com or any of our social medias. If you have fun photos, send them our way too, guys.
Please, we love the photos.
The photos are so good.
Until the next minisode, fork off.
Fork off.
I forgot to say fork off.
You're fine.
If you want to know what the fork is up, head on over to our Streamer Links page at streamerlinks.com/smellsliketeenangst to follow all our personal social media and pages.